So I have marked in red the trail that we took on this Sunday, the trail of which the clips are at the start of this video. All these red lines go through this land which is mostly uninhabited and is in the nearby areas of Tighra. This is the final point at which we went, and it's a very mix sort of a very diverse sort of a trail. It has rocks, it has mud, it has clay, and it has a lot of shrubs and bushes which might have thorns. Some of the trails are very broad enough for the vehicle, some of the trails are very narrow, so you have to think about getting your car in there. And so it's a good mixed experience. I think when it rains more, it will become a lot more challenging to get the car or even a motorcycle in this part, because all that all the trenches that are on the trail, all the gaps there are in the stones, in the rock bed that we have in this area, will get even more filled with water. Right now there is less of it because it has only rained a bit. Now, as you can see, I am trying to get the car across various rocky obstacles. These are very basic obstacles. Now, these are very basic because of the fact that I had a puncture right away in the morning when I was coming to this trail. And therefore, when I got to this trail, I decided that okay, now that I have fixed a puncture, I don't have a spare wheel, so I will not take a lot of risk. And through various rides which I have done in the last few days, I have realized that these tires are really bad. These tires are really not off-road tires, and although the brand has given them as stock tires, these are really a waste because they are very shallow. The sidewalls on this is very thin, is like incredibly thin. You'll be surprised how thin it is, and anything, even a small thorn goes through these and punctures it. And when a sidewall gets punctured, the problem is that the air leaks almost immediately, and therefore there is no way to fix that puncture, and you have to just replace it with the spare wheel. So as you can see, I still tried a few parts, and obviously because I had to go back, and this is the route back, I am taking the car through the water because this is the easiest part to get through. All the dry part that you see is dry because it is high, and therefore the water doesn't settle in it. The part which is filled with water is basically the part which is a bit deeper, a bit flatter, and where the water can settle down. Now this is the trail which is the approach part. This was the second screenshot of the map which I posted. I had posted three screenshots. The first part is basically the road part that has become tarmac. I'll talk about that later. The second screenshot basically showed the mud trail. Now this mud trail is very interesting mud trail. It is dry currently with only very small wet patches and a lot of rocks, but I think as monsoon approaches and as we get into a wetter sort of a season, this will get much more challenging, and I'll definitely want to revisit this trail at that time so that I can actually see what the potential of going with this car in wetter areas is. Now all these are ups and downs. There are a lot of hills in this area, and therefore it makes the journey that much more interesting. I think this trail is around 3 or 4 kilometers. That's it. But all those 3 or 4 kilometers are quite challenging because of the fact that the trails are not very well defined and it's very easy to get lost. Secondly, there is no network, and thus you have to really work things out when you visit it for the first time. Now this is the road. Now if you look at this road, you'll be surprised to know that this road was a trail not very long ago. And basically what is happening here is this entire very long stretch, I think 70-80 kilometers of completely barren land, is being connected by this new highway, which will sort of become a bypass for a couple of cities. And therefore there is massive change happening here. And I definitely think that this is one of the most beautiful roads around Gwalior, and so if you visit this place, this is a great option. Although I will advise that you only visit this area in daytime, as it's still very uninhabited, and therefore it is really not safe to visit it in late evening or night.